Hey everybody, Jim here with another video for you. This is Shocktober 2025, episode 11. But before I begin, at the end of this video, if you like what you see, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe, but most importantly, please leave comments below. Let me know how you feel about this series. Let me know how you feel about the picks that I'm going to be highlighting today. Now today, as I film this, it is Saturday, October 11th. Before I begin, I want to remind everybody that later on this afternoon at 1 p.m. Central Time will be the next live episode of Shooting the Shit with Jim. My very special guest will be Andy at Forgotten World of Movies. It was Andy's birthday yesterday, so hopefully you guys can come on and wish him a happy birthday and join in on the discussion. Andy's a great guy. He's coming all the way from the UK, so please come on to my channel at 1 o'clock and make Andy welcome like I know you always will. Now, today's topic in Shocktober 2025, today is Saturday, so today we are going with Sequel Saturday, and I am going to be highlighting 5 sequels, part 2s to be precise, that I feel are better than the original. Now, when I say better, I mean my own personal taste. I don't mean that they're superior in quality or anything like that. It's just I have a better time watching the sequel than I do the original film, if that makes any kind of sense whatsoever. Now, this is not the one of the recommendations. I'm using this as an example. Okay, sorry about the glare. Day of the Dead, which is of course the sequel to Night of the Living Dead. To me, Dawn of the Dead is the greatest horror film of all time, and as much as I love Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead is a superior film in my eyes. So I'm using this as an example of what I'm getting at for this particular video, okay? So let's get this out of the way. I picked 5 sequels that I feel are more entertaining than the originals, and I put them in order of what I think people will be upset about. As I go further down the list, I guarantee there's going to be people going, "What? You're insane. How could you possibly say that movie is better than the original?" I'm talking to you, Stuart. But we'll get through this and we'll go from there, okay? So the first pick on my list is Phantasm 2. Again, sorry about the glare. This is from 1988, I believe, and written and directed by Don Coscarelli, starring Angus Scrimm, Reggie Bannister, and James LeGros. This is my favorite Phantasm movie out of all of them. This movie's batshit crazy. It's insane. It's fun. It was a huge flop at the time, but again, it's just great. I love this movie so much. And again, it's not scary. It's just a whole lot of fun. There's the tall man with the sphere right there on my icon blanket. And again, I love the original Phantasm, don't get me wrong, but I just have a better time watching part 2. Next is Friday the 13th, part 2, directed by Steve Miner, starring Amy Steele. I definitely prefer part 2 to part 1. There's more kills, there's more, it's more graphic, and quite honestly, I just think it's a scarier movie. Outside of the final chapter, this is probably my favorite Friday the 13th movie. It's a great movie. This is Baghead Jason, and again, it's just great. The guy in the wheelchair getting the machete in the face is still one of the most brutal kills in the entire series. I love it. The only thing I don't like about this movie is Amy Steele. For the last half an hour, all she does is say, "Paul, Paul, Paul." If you did a shot every time you heard her yell out, "Paul," you would die of alcohol poisoning in about 10 minutes. Next, now this one, here's where the controversy is going to start for the next 3. Next, Sam Raimi's Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, starring Bruce Campbell, written and directed by Sam Raimi. This is my favorite Evil Dead movie out of all of them. I adore this movie. And again, I love the original. I love all the Evil Dead movies. I even like the new ones. But this one's just balls out crazy. It's so much fun. It strikes that perfect balance of comedy and horror. The first movie is strictly horror. This one is like a 50-50 split. The third one, Army of Darkness, is pure farce, okay? This one, I think, just gets that perfect balance between comedy and horror, and it just works for me. I love this movie so much. Groovy. Next, now these next two are going to be very controversial, but I will stand on this hill until the day I die. Psycho 2 is better than Psycho in my eyes. And again, I don't mean it's a better movie. I mean, I am more entertained when I watch it. I'm trying to get this up so that way we don't have the glare. So on this one, we got Anthony Perkins, Vera Miles, Meg Tilly, Robert Loggia. This one was written by Tom Holland and it's directed by Richard Franklin. My God, I love this movie. I really do. I think this is one of the greatest horror sequels of all time. Let me rephrase that. I think this is one of the greatest sequels of all time. This movie is 1,000 times better than it has any right to be. When it was announced that there was a sequel to Psycho coming out 22 years later, people were up in arms. How could you possibly make a sequel to a Hitchcock film, especially that Hitchcock film? And when it came out, the critics were by and large impressed, and so was I. My mom took me to see this, and it just blew me away, and it still blows me away every time I watch it. I love all three Psycho movies, don't get me wrong, okay? This one's my favorite. But this is the one that most people are going to blow their gasket over, and I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again. I prefer Dr. Sleep to The Shining. Based on the novel by Stephen King, written and directed by Mike Flanagan, and starring Ewan McGregor and Rebecca Ferguson, among others. This movie rocks. It rocks. Because Flanagan, like Frank Darabont, has become a master of adapting very difficult properties from Stephen King. He did Gerald's Game for Netflix, which was considered an impossible book to film. He did it recently with The Life of Chuck, which is one of my favorite films of the year, without a doubt. And with this one, Dr. Sleep. In this particular case, he did really the impossible. He made a sequel or an adaptation of the book while also making it a sequel to the original Kubrick film, which has very little to do with the original source material. Stephen King has gone on record for years saying how much he hates Stanley Kubrick's The Shining because it deviated from the novel so much. And when Flanagan asked him if he could do a sequel to this, he was very hesitant, especially when he told him that he needed to incorporate scenes from The Shining. But once Stephen King saw this movie, he loved it and has even come around on the Stephen King movie, or the Stanley Kubrick film, because of this film. I love this film. And again, it's one of those miracle sequels in my eyes that is so much better than it has any right to be. When this was announced and it came out theatrically, I had no interest to see it because, again, I thought, why make a sequel to The Shining? And then when this came out on Blu-ray, I rented it and kicked myself in the ass immediately. I love this movie. I really do. And I think as the years go by, this movie's going to turn into a classic. So that is it for this edition of Shocktober 2025. I hope you enjoyed this. Once again, I want to remind everybody that at 1 o'clock Central Time today will be the next live edition of Shooting the Shit with Jim. My very special guest will be Andy from the Forgotten World of Movies. I'm going to be posting his link in the description below. So I hope you guys can all join us in a couple of hours. And once again, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up, a possible subscribe, but most importantly, leave those comments below. I know I'm going to be getting some comments from this one. And we'll see you on the next one.